Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Battle of the Bangers Season 3. I'm your host. My name is Tyler, and, of course, I'm joined by the boys. We've got Brennan.
What's going on, folks?
And we have Kyle's knees. Why are you sitting like L from Death Note?
You see, another interesting situation where I didn't realize we were beginning recording. And that's why you saw my face of pure surprise when you started saying things. I was like, but we're here, just bopping to one of these sweet tunes we've got to talk about today. Bro. What are they, Tyler?
Oh, yeah. So, continuing with our season bracket of the least streamed Dance Gavin Dance singles, according to album, not including Everything I Say Is Royal Ocean. This sounds complicated, so if you want a full explanation of how these were chosen, watch the first episode if you have not, and you will get the rundown. But today, we are talking about Self-Trepanation from Death Star, I believe. No, from Happiness. Sorry. I get them confused because I don't listen to either album. Versus Demo Team from Acceptance Speech. So, we have a song that I find forgettable against a song that I fervently hate. Very interesting matchup. But fortunately for me, I don't have to go first. I don't have to voice my opinion first. That responsibility belongs to good old Banana Bread. So why don't you dive on into it? Which song do you want to talk about first, or do you just want to talk about both at the same time?
So kind of both of these songs have similar issues, albeit one song I feel has it way worse. And the other song that doesn't have it as bad, I actually enjoy the middle a lot more, while the other track, the middle kind of feels like it doesn't really have any direction. So the track that I think has more issues is Self-Trepanation, because the intro, I mean, they kind of go overboard with like the effects, like the pedals, trying to like hook you into the track. And then from there, like, it's like decent music, but then like it doesn't really seem like it has any focus for me. And like, it kind of leads into this really drawn out, really like lackluster outro that lasts entirely too long. Now, like I said, Demo Team on the other hand has its issues. I do really like the drum part, especially like the drumming itself. The John Mess kind of, little vocal track he has going on over, it's kind of weird. I think that's what like kind of turns Tyler off to all this. But then, like, the middle of the song is, like, beautiful. Like, once Tillian comes in, he, like, actually, like, takes off on, like, his vocal runs. Like, it actually is, like, really impressive and, like, really catchy. And, to me is, like, actually sonically good. And, of course, like, yes, the song does outro the same way that it intros. But I like how, they do have, like, the weird, like, John Mess bit. But then, like, to actually finish the track, like, you have, like, a little bit of guitars, like, coming back in with a little lick. And, like, John Mess is actually, like, screaming, and it sounds, like, desperate. And, like, just, like, a good way to, like, end the track. While Self-Trepanation just kind of, like, guitar effects, random notes, sounds like something crashed, and this is just the aftermath, like, on its way out.
I'm gonna counter everything you just said. I don't like either of these songs, let's be real. So I don't care who wins this. I will say, though, I think that the fact that Demo Team has, like, 15 seconds that sound pretty good does not at all make up for the fact that 90% of that song
it's way
sounds
more than
like
15
fucking
seconds.
Garbage, dude.
But then you have literally, all right, from, like, the 2-minute mark onward from Self-Trepanation. So we're talking just the outro here, okay? It's like literally like 2:03 is when it begins. It's just like Kurt Travis singing like the same like 2 or 3 notes and the guitar kind of like mirroring him. And then it just like goes into obscurity like off the track.
You're not wrong. I'm not saying that you're wrong about that, but I am saying that it is still better than Demo Team because like
not even
Demo Team makes Tillian sound bad in most of it, which is like a thing that's really hard to do. Because like the part where he sounds good is really good, but again, it's like 10% of the song, and having to sit through that beginning part to get to that is never worth it. Never,
See,
ever at all, ever in any universe. And like
this is
having
where
his like distorted like weird part, and he's like hitting like uncomfortably high notes with like the weird like cutout parts. It's like, I don't like listening to that. You made Tillian sound bad, and like that should never happen, right? And made John Mess sound bad because of it also.
But then I mean, as subjective as we're gonna be in this, I actually enjoy that part because like to me, it actually like you actually feel like the track's like going somewhere. While like Self-Trepanation, I mean, I do, but like, Self-Trepanation, it's just like random guitar effects open the track, and then like the middle of it's just this like discombobulated mess, and then it just like fades into like obscurity and ends.
I would take the middle of Self-Trepanation over the entirety of Demo Team any day of the week.
Oh, I flat out disagree.
The fact that like it like the song at its core, like if you take off like the really long-winded intro and the really long-winded outro, it is still like a functioning song. With Demo Team, I feel like the core of the song is bad. It just has one good part that does not make up for the fact that the rest of the song is an absolute fucking slog to get through. So like,
and I like totally completely disagree, but that's fine. That's how
Kyle is going to have to be today's tiebreaker, I think.
Brought
so
back.
You're gonna have to dive into it.
I got comfortable again because I was really looking forward to this debate between you two. So I was like, "Oh, let's get comfortable." I almost fell and died, but like I really had a good time. Yes, I did almost die, but I actually when I say I enjoyed that, I really did. I was very curious to see what you guys had to say about these because I figured this is how this was gonna go, and I'm very split in the middle of these two because I think they're both like enjoyable in their own ways. They both definitely have like some massive flaws that make them songs that I really don't often want to come back to. I agree with a lot of what both of you said, but the end of the day, the thing that like I think stands out to me the most of like any of the things that either of you said was the bit that you said, Tyler, about the core of Self-Trepanation. I would rather come back to more often than the core of Demo Team, and it's only because I think some of those effects were a little too much in Demo Team. Like they really just kind of go a little too far with it at times, that they take a good thing and they kind of spoil it a bit. And like, do I still like enjoy both these songs? Yeah, I think they're both all right. I think that Self-Trepanation, in my mind, when I listen to it, it feels more of like a weird artistic take that doesn't exactly land, but like I can see where it was going. Demo Team, I think they tried something, it didn't really work, but they really leaned into it way too hard throughout the majority of that song, and it just doesn't work for me. And it's very much a subjective thing, because I can totally see where you're coming from, Brennan, too. But just, I also like just Kurt Travis a good bit. Not to say like I love more than Tillian, obviously this is a comparison of those two, but in a comparison where I like Kurt Travis and it's a very nostalgic sound to me versus a less good Tillian, it's pretty hard for me to not go with Self-Trepanation here as the better song in my mind.
Because that is another good point. Like, Kurt Travis still sounds good in Self-Trepanation, even if you don't like the song. Tillian sounds bad in half of it.
Once again, I totally disagree. I'd rather take an over-affected Tillian than a Kurt Travis that sounds like he has no idea what he's doing in Trepanation.
I don't know.
That's just me. Like,
actually, like to counter that, I don't think it's Kurt Travis that sounds like he has no idea where he's going. I think it's the overall song doesn't feel like where it knows where he's going. Like his part individually, I think is pretty solid, and he like does it, and there's like a very like like wavy like kind of like back and forth echoey feel to some of it. Some of it also just sounds awesome. That little bit right before that, but I don't know. I just feel like I don't think Demo Team sounds bad. I don't think Tillian sounds bad in Demo Team, like Tyler says, but I definitely think it's a less good version than what I want from when I listen to Tillian.
Just, like the very first part that Tillian comes in Demo Team, where it's doing like the weird like cutty outy stuff, and he's like hitting like the uncomfortable, like that sounds so unpleasant to me. Like that might be that is the part of the song that is the hardest to sit through for me. It's not 100%. Even the John Mess stuff leading up to that. It's that part that I'm like,
Yeah.
oh no. Like,
Because I actually, I
not
kind of think
good.
the cutty outy bits of John's part actually sound kind of cool. Like, it kind of works with, like, the really blunt style of, like, the Uncleans. But when you try to put that on Tillion's voice, who's, like, it's very naturally smooth. He's very effortlessly moving up and down, like, all the time within his range. To have that, it just feels so, like I'm just slamming on the brakes of my fucking fantastic car ride all over the place. I'm like, I'm having a bad time.
Yeah, it kind of feels like
why
when
can't
you're
I enjoy this?
learning to use a stick shift for the first time.
Yes.
And you just, like,
It's just
keep,
like,
fucking stuttering around and,
Wait a
like,
minute.
stopping
Oh,
and
okay, I got
starting.
it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's definitely a close battle, and I can totally see arguments for both sides. I'm gonna have to go with Self-Trepanation, though. Slightly.
Oh.
Sorry.
Fair enough. Hey,
It's
fair enough.
moving on. And guess what? This fight didn't matter because we all know what's going to happen in the semis.
Not at all.
Yeah.
All of us
At
know
all.
that that's going to be just a fucking bloodbath. But that's for another time. That's a few weeks from now. But yeah, next week we're going to be talking Swan Soup versus Night Sway, which I think might be the closest matchup we've had so far. Probably the closest matchup in all the prelims together, honestly.
Probably.
It's going to be an interesting one. I'm very excited to dive into those. But we don't have time to do that today because we got to stretch out this content. So, if you would like to be notified when the next episode of this series comes out, please subscribe to the Talks a Lot Boys and ring a dang dong the bell if you haven't already. Make sure to like this video if you liked it because it really does help out a lot. And please comment below which song you think is worse between these two I was going to say piles of garbage. That's a bit harsh. Between these two low-streamed Dance Gavin Dance songs that should probably be forgotten. Which one is worse? Who do you agree with? Let us know. We would love to hear it. But until next time, we have been the Talks a Lot Boys, and we will talk a whole lot more next time.
See you.